The governing party stepping fully onto the campaign trail after releasing its full slate of 38. Crowds gathering at the Wyndham Resort Ballroom this afternoon as the Free National Movement officially unveiled the team for the 2012 elections. Supporters from constituencies throughout the country heard from candidates, many of them speaking of dedication, commitment, and goals to build communities and provide opportunities for Bahamians. Our Shanique Miller is in the heat of things. We go live to her at the ballroom. Shanique, good evening. We've seen the broadcast, and of course we can feel the energy based on what commentators have been saying. Give us a recap of what happened at that ballroom this afternoon.
Clint, you see supporters here behind me are still in this ballroom. Of course, many of them clearing out and going to the hallway. But this ballroom here at the Wyndham and Crystal Palace Casino still charged with excitement and energy as thousands of people crowded in here just moments ago, all supporters of the Free National Movement, as the party officially launched its slate of 38 candidates. It was billed as the main event, and I can tell you, Clint, it did not disappoint. We heard mainly from the party's newer faces, the younger faces, as we heard before. Prime Minister Ingraham talked about transitioning this party for a time when he is no longer on the scene. And so we heard from those men and women, and they talked about plans to transform their areas, their constituencies, to empower Bahamians, and of course cause them to go on and live productive lives. Clint, I can tell you, just to describe what was happening here moments ago, thousands were seated, hundreds were around the perimeter of this ballroom as seating was filled to capacity, and then hundreds more were outside beyond those doors watching on monitors set up so that they could partake in the festivities happening here. Now, of course, we heard from the Prime Minister. He delivered the keynote address just moments ago. Mr. Ingraham laid out his party's, his administration's record of success over the last 5 years. And that included, Clint, of course, new roads, certainly a new critical care block at the Princess Margaret Hospital, a new airport, a new cargo port, a new Parliament Square, and so much more, as he talked about this election, the 2012 general election, being an election about leadership. Take a listen at what he had to say just moments ago.
Hard-working, committed, devoted to hands. You're simply the best. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy and I'm proud to introduce you to the approved standard bearers of the Free National Movement for the 2012 general election. Each one of them is committed to the principles and philosophy of the FNM. They all believe that the purpose of government is to serve you, the Bahamian people, and our nation, and to make it better as best they can for everyone. When we launched in Grand Bahama our candidates 2 weeks ago, I thought it was Valentine's Day. Grand Bahama was the prelude. This is the main event. You're simply the best. Color Red is on the move. Color Red will sweep the Bahamas next time.
Prime Minister Ingraham addressing supporters who came from around the country as each candidate brought supporters with them. Of course, standing beside me, Clint, is a man himself who was once a member of Parliament for the West End and Bimini seat, David Wallace. Just a really impressive event here this evening.
No doubt. I think the party has launched in grand style here in New Providence on the heel of 2 weeks ago where we launched in Grand Bahama with all of the 5 candidates in Grand Bahama. As you know, we feel very strongly about Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama, like many of the other islands in the Bahamas, has feel and touched the Free National Movement government over the last 5 years. And so we brought a great delegation from Grand Bahama. And I must tell you, this probably, the fire has been lit in New Providence. With a group of new candidates, the party has introduced its 17 new candidates, along with its 9 women. I think we are doing what we ought to do in terms of repositioning and re-energizing this party. Many of the seniors like myself who was not successful and those who were have backed aside, and that is, we believe, will re-energize the Free National Movement in Grand Bahama and the Bahamas.
Of course, a lot is being made out of those 9 women on your ticket, but of course we want to go to, I guess, individuals if we can for just a moment. I thought Howard Johnson was pretty impressive, very strong and convincing, even had Prime Minister Ingraham applauding him for a time.
No doubt. I think he has revolutionized and re-energized the island of Eleuthera. When you hear the history of him coming from a PLP family in the south of Eleuthera, you hear of his accomplishments. I know the team in Eleuthera is very high on him, and I'm told that his mother is doing an excellent job of campaigning for him. They are the kind of people we believe who can take the Bahamas forward for us. And as for the women, we have a strong candidate in the person of Pakisha Parker Edgecombe, who has brought with her some love of people who are moving from the other party to join the Free National Movement support.
I saw her in the audience a moment ago applauding with her husband. Thank you so much, David Wallace. Certainly still involved in the FNM's campaign machinery as they go toward 2012 general election. Thank you for talking to us. And Clint, of course, the Prime Minister said so much more. He gave us a peek or a sneak peek of the manifesto for 2012. We will talk about that tomorrow. But for now, this live here at the Crystal Palace Casino and Ballroom. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Shanique.